Welcome back to Talking Sports with Brandon. This is the Dallas Cowboys Week 15 video. If you haven't seen the video before this, it is the Week 15 recap video. So definitely go and watch that and check it out. But for this video, it's not a good one. Now, look, it's, the Cowboys did lose this game to the Jaguars. It's not the worst thing in the world in terms of, and I'll talk about it a little bit later, in terms of just the overall playoff implications and possibly what could have happened. But it's just it's a tough game. And anytime you lose, it's tough. But it was the fashion in which we did lose this game, which is a tough pill to swallow. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to go through the possessions, talk about the game, see what possibly we could have changed, what we could have done differently. But just not what we were looking for, especially the way that it started, especially the way that the game was playing out. Like, you would have thought, it was just looking like a great week. It really was. But like I said, we're gonna jump right into it. So again, we're playing the Jaguars in Jacksonville. I don't think we beat them since like 2006 or something like that in Jacksonville. Obviously, we don't play that. We play there every 8 years. We play in Jacksonville. And actually, the last time that we played Jacksonville technically on the road was in London. So didn't even really play them in Jacksonville. But it's a tough place to play. I've said it. It can be hot. It's a different atmosphere, different environment. Teams seem to just struggle a little bit there. That wasn't really the case for a majority of this game, but for when it really mattered, we did struggle. But so we win the toss. We get the ball first. We actually decide to get the ball first. Put a little decent drive together, but do end up punting. Jaguars get the ball. They fumble, actually, and it's ETN. He kind of doesn't really have the snap, or he doesn't really have the handoff from Lawrence. Then kind of hits into his own guy anyway. So it looked like he was going to fumble no matter what, but he fumbles. We pick it up. So huge play right there. They definitely were driving a little bit. They'd already kind of moved the ball a little bit. We're almost at midfield at that point. And they're an offense that's playing at a really high level these last couple of weeks. Like, Lawrence has really shown why he was the number one pick and why he had all the pre-draft hype about him, because he's played really well. Coming into this game, he was 10 touchdowns, no picks coming into the game over his last couple of games. So he's playing at a really high level. They can run the ball. The defense can make some plays. So you definitely have to play a good game. It's not like an easy game when you play the Jaguars. You think it's obviously just going to be an easy game. Like, no, they actually are like a pretty competent team. But the fumble helped get good field position. Go Pollard for 9 yards, Pollard for 3 yards, Pollard for 11 yards. So we're already establishing that run game and showing what we could do on the ground. Zeke for 8 yards, and then Zeke for a 10-yard touchdown. I mean, that was literally all runs except for the first one, which was a pass to Pollard for 9 yards. They were all runs. That's what it looked like. It looked like we were going to be able to run the ball against this team and just do what we've been doing these last handful of games, where it's just run, and we're going to kill you on the ground. And we didn't do a lot on the ground. We ended up with 154 yards, which is a good number, no doubt, but it took us 41 carries to get those 154 yards. That's not even 4 yards a carry. That's not good. Again, the yards in total look good, and it is good because it's a whole football field and a half that you're getting on the ground, but it takes you 41 carries to get that. And besides that kind of first drive and maybe a run here or there, we were getting stopped a lot. It wasn't like we were getting a lot of big runs. I mean, that drive right there that I just talked about, the drive itself was 41 yards, and 30 of them came on the ground just on the one drive. That's 5 plays for 30 yards. That's good. But other than that, it was just not a lot on the ground, not a lot at all. So after the touchdown, which obviously is good, I would get that touchdown, forced 3 and out. So Trey looking really good this game. And this actually came, Parsons got a sack. First sack in 2 full games, I will just say. The rest of this game, we got no sacks. So it's 1 sack in our last 2 games. Not impressive, considering the fact that we were on pace to, basically set a record in the NFL in terms of sacks for a season. And now we went 2 games with getting 1 sack. This one was early on first quarter. For the rest of the quarters in this game, we came close, but never actually got them. But we did force a 3 and out here. Then we go down to get another touchdown. Again, just playing really well the first couple drives of this game. Go up 14-0 early. Noah Brown for 8 yards, Pollard for 4 yards, Pollard for 5 yards, Lamb for 4 yards. Lamb was really, really good in this game. Incomplete to Lamb, but pass interference. Zeke for 2 yards. End of the first quarter, so moving to the second quarter. 9 yards to Brown. Lamb for 15. Zeke for 1. And then Peyton Hendershot, 20-yard touchdown. Great pass, great play. I saw it developing. You get two guys to clear out the right side. Hendershot goes on a wheel route. He has a linebacker on him. Dak puts it in a perfect position, and there was a great touchdown. I mean, again, just looking really efficient, looking really good on offense so far. The run game has been working. This is obviously more of a pass-heavy drive on this one, and we were just moving the ball at a really, really good pace. But after this touchdown, the Jaguars do come down. They do answer with their own touchdown. So ETN for 6 yards, ETN for 5 yards, 7-yard pass, 4-yard run, 13-yard pass, 13-yard pass again. So getting kind of a chunk play vibe with the two back-to-back 13 yards, 18-yard run, 4-yard run all the way to the 1-yard line, or to the 5-yard line, and then a 5-yard touchdown pass to Zay Jones, who you're going to hear his name a lot in this video because he did a lot in this game. But, okay, so they answered back with a touchdown. They put together a really good drive. I mean, and this drive, what hurts our defense is the misdirection. Screens, we're not good at covering screens. Misdirection can get us a lot of times on end arounds, guys going in motion. It just confuses our defense, and that's what they were doing on this drive. There was a guy in motion every single play. They were faking it here, going here, laddering it there. They were doing everything possible. They threw the kitchen sink at us, and we had zero clue how to stop it. So it was just a perfectly executed game plan from the offensive side on that drive. And that's the way you beat our defense. I mean, one is running the ball, which they did a great job of running the ball. I'll just say the final statistic of what them on the ground was. It's 192 yards on the ground, 27 carries. You see the difference? Despite us having 154, it took us 14 more carries to get 40 less yards, basically. That's not impressive at all. There were 7 yards on the ground. They're in second and third basically every single time they run the ball. That's not good. But yeah, it was just a great drive that they put together. But to our credit, we answered right back with a touchdown. And this is what you like to see. And again, it's just the way that the game was going. I mean, Dak to Zeke for 7 yards, Zeke for 7, Zeke for 5, 6 for Schultz, Pollard for 8 yards. Dak gets sacked. It's only 2 yards, though. He did get hit a couple times this game. The offensive line's been a little shaky these last couple of weeks. We did have Tyron Smith back this game. He was only supposed to play limited snaps, but he ended up playing around 54 snaps this game because of necessity. He's going to be fully back. He was playing right tackle, which was expected, but the offensive line's been a little shaky these last couple of weeks. They've let up a lot of hits on Dak. They've let up sacks. They've a lot of pressures. He's had to move out the pocket a lot. So it's what's been really solid this season. I think Dak had only been sacked like 15 times going into this game. It's kind of risen up these last couple of weeks. But again, only a 2-yard sack, not the worst thing in the world. So 3rd and 4, get 14 yards to Noah Brown. Pollard for 8 yards, Dak for 12 yards. That was a nice play call. I like that play call. That was a read option, and he just took it. And great blocking. Everyone thought it was going to be a run to, I think it was Zeke in on or Pollard, whoever it was, and got all the way down to the 1-yard line. Then Pollard for no gain. I never understand why Pollard's in the game on goal line situations. It's like, I know if Zeke's in the game, the defense is going to expect the run. And you could still run it up the middle of Zeke and score. Or you use it to your advantage and do a pass play, do play action, and you have a tight end leak out, and it's most likely a guaranteed touchdown. I don't know why Pollard's ever in, because he's not big enough. If you do run up the middle, like as we clearly just saw, he's not going to be able to score. He's not big enough to go through there on 1 yard. If you're 3 yards away, it's a little different because there's a little bit more space. But 1 yard, they have all those big bodies in. There's no way Pollard can score a touchdown. So he gets stuffed. Go to the 2-minute warning. So again, we're at the 2-minute warning. It's basically a full half right here. And then Dak throws it to Noah Brown. Again, Zeke came in, you went play action, and you hit Noah Brown for a 1-yard touchdown. That's what they should do from the start. It worked out, obviously, but that's what you got to do. Pollard can't be in on goal line situations. So 21-7. I mean, 21-7. 3 touchdowns out of 4 drives. We have 3 touchdowns. And even the first drive where we did punt, we got all the way onto their side of the field. So it's not like we just went 3 and out. We did move the ball on that drive as well. After that touchdown, they go 3 and out. We basically go 3 and out. And then it's the end of the half. They put a mini drive together, but never really did anything to get points. So 21-7 going into half, looking really good. I mean, the offense is humming. The defense not making a lot of big plays, but obviously 7 points and a half, you'll take that. And they're doing just enough to, hold the Jaguars, either keeping them bottled up. So going to half, Jaguars get the ball out of halftime. They come down and get a field goal, which that's fine. I mean, it looked like they were possibly going to go get a touchdown. They got all the way inside a red zone for, about 5 plays they ran inside the red zone. So could have easily been a touchdown. Good job by the defense holding them to a field goal. And it came, again, it's 1st and 10 at the 19-yard line. It's incomplete. It's a 5-yard pass. 3rd and 5, they go incomplete and have to kick a field goal. So that's a good hold from the defense. It's fine giving up a field goal. It's 21-10. Big difference, 21-10 compared to 21-14. We answer back with our own field goal. It was Zeke for 2 yards, incomplete. 3rd and 8, we go 39 yards to Lamb. Great play. Lamb makes a great play by making a couple guys miss and then gets extra probably like 15 yards, I would say, at least 20 yards. Lamb for 22 yards. Again, he had a monster game, like I said. The thing is, we get all the way down to their 4-yard line. This possibly could have been a turning point in the game. There was a lot in this game, but this one is maybe underrated because this could have made the game 28-10. And you're all the way at the 4-yard line. So, again, Zeke went for 8 yards. Then it's Zeke for minus 2 yards. Again, now you're backed up. Incompletion to Gallup on 3rd and 4 to end that drive, and you have to kick a field goal. You need it to get a touchdown there. Now, looking in that moment at the time of the game, you didn't love it. You wanted a touchdown, but you were taking a field goal. It matches what they just did. You're still proving that you could drive the ball down the field on their defense, but looking back at it, that really needed to be a touchdown there because now next drive, Jaguars throw an interception. And again, this could have been the turning point in the game. I think these 2 drives, back-to-back, of our drives, but with sandwiched in between was the Jaguars' interception, where they're at their 37-yard line. I think it was a miscommunication, to be honest, and Deron Bland gets another interception. That's 4 this season. So he's played really well. There's another guy we'll talk about, I think, on the next drive, but we don't do anything after the interception. We get the ball at their 42-yard line. Pollard goes for minus 2 yards. Then Schultz for 9 yards, and then we go incomplete to Pollard deep. It was the play call was about kind of like the Hendershot play call where it's a wheel route for that guy. This time it was Pollard. Dak's rolling out to his right. It's 3rd and 2. It's 3rd and 3. I just don't love that play call of trying to go for a wheel route to Pollard on 3rd and 3. I know he has a linebacker on him. I know it's Pollard and he can make a play, but I'd like to see something different there. I wouldn't even mind possibly running it there and then going for it on 4th down. I wouldn't mind that either, but I just didn't love the play call there. I think you had to do something on that drive. You get a great interception from your defense, great field position. You get 7 yards on the drive. You do make the 53-yard field goal, but again, those are 2 drives where at least one of those has got to end up in a touchdown. One time you're at the 4-yard line, the other time you start at their 42-yard line. One of those has to end in a touchdown. Instead, it's 27-10, and then this is where the whole game flips. The entire game, again, it's been a half, and it's been 2 quarters and 1 half of the 3rd quarter where you're in complete domination of the game. Not even close. It's not even close. And the next drive is where it all goes downhill for us. ETN goes for 6 yards. ETN goes for 10 yards. And Zay Jones gets a touchdown for 59 yards from Trevor Lawrence. And I've said it. I've said it since we drafted him. I said it this season, and I said it when Anthony Brown went down. Kelvin Joseph is not a cornerback in the NFL. I don't like him on this team. I've never liked him. And there's no reason that he should ever play another down for them. Seriously, I mean, we drafted him in the 2nd round last year. Didn't understand why. I know he fits what the Cowboys are looking for in terms of a lengthy guy with long arms. That's what you want on the outside, but this guy does not know how to cover people. All he does is commit penalties, and all he does is get burnt. Against the Texans last week, he was terrible, and this week he was awful. He even got benched in the middle of this game because of how bad he was. And this was just the first play that he was bad this game. Gets burnt on a double move, gets completely burned out of the play, and they hit him for a touchdown. And I don't like him. I've never liked him on this team. Even when he plays special teams and they say he's one of the better special teams players, he always commits penalties on special teams. So I don't like him at all. I don't want him on this team. I hope he never plays again this rest of the season. I don't like him at all. So he gets burned for that touchdown to make it 27-17. So quick strike. It's not like they put together a 10-play drive that took 6 minutes off the clock. It took a minute 24 off the clock, 3 plays, 75 yards. After that, Dak gets sacked, so another sack. And then next play, we're at our own 8-yard line. He pressure again on the right side. He scrambles out of the pocket. He does get hit on the arm, which I think people didn't really realize or see, but he does get hit on the arm a little bit because he does have Schultz open. Schultz is open for, I would say, at least 8 yards, something like that, 10 yards, a 10-yard play, 2nd and 18 at that point. Schultz is open, and he definitely gets hit on the arm on the follow-through. Airmails him, and it gets picked off. And they return it for even like 20 yards, but it gets come back because of an illegal block in the back. But still, interception. They still have the ball in really good field position anyways. It's at our own 39-yard line. And the game is flipping. All of a sudden, it's 27-10. Now it's 27-17. They go 30 yards on the first play. It's an end around. Again, misdirection. Then they go -1 yard, incompletion, 3rd and goal at the 10-yard line, they get a touchdown. It just can't happen. It just cannot happen to let up a touchdown right there. I can't remember if this one was the Melvin Joseph, if this one was the Kelvin Joseph one, or his second touchdown let up. I think it was. I can't even really remember the touchdown at this point, but I think this was the second touchdown that he gave up. But now, all of a sudden, it's 27-24. Just like that. I mean, it's still the third quarter. We went from 5 minutes in the third quarter where it was 27-10 to now 27-24 with 1 minute left. And on our next drive, we go 3 and out. 3 and out, 2-minute drive, punt it right back, and they come right down the field and get a touchdown. 8 plays, 75 yards, 4 minutes off the clock. 16-yard run, 5-yard run, 27-yard pass, 6-yard run, 13-yard run, 3-yard run all the way down to our 5-yard line now, 2-yard run, and then 3rd and goal again, 3-yard touchdown pass to Zay Jones. All of a sudden, we're losing this game. It's 31-27 now. I can't believe it. I'm watching this. I can't believe that we're losing this game after offense was dominating. I mean, Dak was great. He was great. The offensive line was playing good enough. The Lamb was making plays. The running game was good enough at that point. The defense was making enough plays. Unbelievable what was happening. But to our credit, we did answer back with a touchdown to make it 34-31. And this was a great drive. It was 13 plays, 75 yards, 7 minutes off the clock. Killed clock on this drive. Put a really nice drive together. So Lamb for 25 yards to start the drive off. Pollard for 5 yards. Dak for 4 yards. Dak for 1 yard on 3rd and 1 QB sneak. Pollard for 6 yards, Pollard for 3 yards, Dak for 2 yards, QB sneak again. So basically just, 2 straight, downs in a row. That was the same thing. Then so we went from 10 minutes on the clock to now 6 minutes on the clock. We're at their 29-yard line. 1st and 10. Zeke for 5 yards, Gallup for 2 yards, 3rd and 3, another 3rd down conversion, 5 yards to Pollard. Great play by him. It was kind of just a throw in the flat. Pollard had to make a guy miss, got the 1st down. Pollard for no gain. Dak to Noah Brown for 4 yards. And 3rd and 6, another 3rd down conversion from the 13-yard line. Dak scrambles out left, makes a throw across his body. Noah Brown catches it for a touchdown. Great play. Great, off-script play from Dak and Noah Brown. It's a great drive. 3 minutes on the clock. Get the lead 34-31. And just kind of put down what was happening. Because the momentum, again, when it was 27-10 and then they got that touchdown, The stadium was dead. They were dead. They had no confidence. All the momentum was on our side, and it completely flipped the other way. They were moving. They were live. They were lively. And the crowd was super in it. Still a lot of Cowboys fans there, but the crowd was super in it for the Jaguars. And we kind of flipped it right back over with this drive. And on the ensuing drive, this is where the game should be over. This should have been a win at this point. With everything that happened, at this point, it's 34-31 with 3 minutes left in the game. They go 5-yard pass, 7-yard pass, incompletion, 5-yard pass, 2-minute warning, 3rd and 5. They pick it up with an 8-yard pass, which that you needed to stop there at 3rd and 5. But you get lucky next play, which again, this is where our pass rush has to come into play. We got to him a couple times, but never were able to sack him. And on this one, it almost worked. It actually worked out that we didn't sack him, but I forget who it was. I think it was Sam Williams. Had him and missed it. I think it was Sam Williams. He had him and missed him. Lawrence escapes, runs to his left, scrambles for 11 yards, picks up the first down. It doesn't even matter. It's 1st and 10, really. I mean, he got 11 yards, but whatever he got would have been good. He could have just went to the ground. There's a minute 38 on the clock. He decides to not slide, try and get an extra few yards. Jaron Curse hits him, fumble. He forces a fumble. Parsons picks it up for the recovery. Ball game should be over. A minute 30 left on the clock. Jaguars have all 3 timeouts, but you're at the 40-yard line, so if you do punt, you could pin him back. We go Zeke for -3 yards, force him to use a timeout. Pollard for 3 yards, so now it's 3rd and 10, force him to use another timeout. And this is where I didn't agree with the play call here. We decided to go pass. And look, it's a minute 20 on the clock. If it's 3rd and 4, if it's 3rd and maybe 5, if it's I think 3rd and 5 is the maximum that I would go to. I would pass the ball. At least try and go for the first down. But at 3rd and 10, or do you seriously think you're going to be able to convert a 3rd and 10? And I think they went shotgun on it. So it's like you really weren't thinking run. It's not like they went under center and kind of had maybe a 3 tight end set in there. Kind of went with a jumbo package almost. Like made it look like a run where they were going to go play action and try and hit a pass. I'm pretty sure they went shotgun. And it's it's at least at that point, you at least know it's most likely going to be a pass. So you can kind of play pass at that point. But did they really think they were going to be able to convert in 3rd and 10? Apparently the play was to go to CeeDee Lamb, but he was getting double-teamed, and he got double-teamed for a majority of the game in the second half because he was killing them in the first half. So he went deep to Noah Brown. It just is an incomplete pass. It's just kind of whatever. It was just, kind of late in the pocket. He throws it up there, and Noah Brown doesn't catch it. It's not like he really could have caught it, but whatever. It was an incomplete pass. But you force them not to use a timeout because obviously it's an incomplete pass. And I just didn't agree with the play call. There's a minute and 12 from the time when you punt it to when they get it. There's a minute and 12 seconds on the clock, or actually a minute and 1 second on the clock because of the punt. And they have the ball at their 29-yard line. They need a field goal to send this to OT. And I think that if you were to run the ball on 3rd and 10, because you're not getting on 3rd and 10 passing the ball, which again they didn't, but you force them to use that timeout. Now maybe it's the same amount of time anyways because obviously it's an incomplete pass, so that wouldn't have mattered. You force them to use a timeout, so they have no timeouts left. People say the game could have went differently. They would have played it differently because they knew they would have had no timeouts. But you really expect them to go from their 30-yard line to get into field goal range with no timeouts, 1 minute on the clock, and get a field goal off in time. Because what happened was incompletion. Now, this is where we should have the stop. It's 3rd and 10. We let up a 15-yard pass. And we even challenged it. Or I can't remember if we challenged it or I think they just reviewed it because on all the replays they showed on TV, it looked like he caught it. But people were saying in the stadium they were showing replays that were different than what was being shown on TV. And it showed that the ball came loose. But the ones on TV, you couldn't see it. So they called it a catch. But even still, it's 3rd and 10, and they have to get a first down. How do you let up a 15-yard play? And Kelvin Joseph's out at this point, but we're playing like a zone. I don't know what we're doing. We're not even close to the guy when he catches the ball. So they pick up a first down there. Then you go 2 yards, and there's 24 seconds left in the game. And that replay hurt because they stopped the clock, they reviewed it, and then they had to start the clock again, with all, both teams kind of basically having a timeout, huddled up, and kind of being ready on the ball. So if they didn't review that and it just went to them having to hurry up to the line, everyone gets set, whether they clock it, whatever they do, run a play, probably more time when it came off the clock, but it wouldn't have been that much more time. It would have been kind of similar. So, but still, that was something that happened. Then they go 2 yards, he goes out of bounds, and then this was the biggest play of the game, or I guess one of them. But they go Evan Ingram 5 yard pass, just like a little crosser in front of his face, and Curse has him. I mean, Curse is holding on to Evan Ingram for, I don't know, 7 yards. And he's just going sideways because he has to get out of bounds. They still have the timeout, but there's 17 seconds left when they run the play. He knows that he has to get out of bounds because he's basically on the hashes right now. He's like not really close to the sideline. Curse just can't bring him down. If he just brings him down in bounds, that forces them to use that timeout. So that's another one. Again, if they didn't have that timeout, you get him in bounds, they can't win that game. They're at midfield with like 10 seconds left. You play the sidelines, fine. They can come down in bounds anyways. There's no time left to get a field goal off. So if he gets him down right there and forces him to use that timeout, we win that game. But somehow he can't bring him down. He drags him to the sideline, dives out of bounds, gets the ball out of bounds, and they obviously get the ball out of bounds. Clock stops. Next play, they hit a 19-yard pass to Zay Jones. Again, pressure on Lawrence. He rolls out left. Somehow Donovan Wilson does not get his hands on the ball. If you watch the replay, it literally went right through his hands. I mean, couldn't have gone as closely, as precisely as it did through his hands. Then what happened? Insane. I mean, if he just knocks that ball down, it's 4th and 3 with, I would say, 8 or 9 seconds on the clock at midfield. I mean, they still have the timeout, but that's a huge play because that means they have to get, if you're at midfield, you have to at least get 15 yards to give you a 53-yard field goal, somewhere around there. So at least 12 to 15-yard play with like 8 seconds left, and you have to get the timeout down. It's tough. It would be tough. And again, you have to complete it and get down and whatever, but just that they complete it, they get 19 yards, they kick a field goal, they have to call timeout, they kick a field goal, they make it 48 yards, game goes to OT. I mean, think of how many plays would happen. 3rd and 10, you run the ball, force them to use that timeout. 3rd and 10 for them, they had a 15-yard pass, convert it. Evan Ingram getting out of bounds and not tackling him in bounds where they would have forced him to use the timeout. And then the next play where Donovan Wilson somehow can't get his hands on it. They get 19 yards on it and still have the timeout, call the timeout, kick a field goal, send the game to OT. So, all right. After all of that, this game, we should have won this game by now. Ridiculous that we haven't, but it's an OT time game. Jaguars get the ball first, but we do force a 3-and-out. Huge 3-and-out right there. And at this point, I'm thinking, all right, all we need is a field goal. We're going to win this game. We get the ball back at our 20-yard line. Pollard goes for 21 yards on the first play. All the way up to the 41-yard line. Pollard for 6 yards. 2nd and 4, Pollard goes for no yards. And this is the final play of the game. 3rd and 4, Dak rolls out to his left, pressure in his face a little bit. Noah Brown's on a crosser. No, I mean, Dak hits him right in the chest, right in the hands. Wasn't behind, wasn't in front. Hits him, throws it low because, it wasn't like it was a bad throw because it was low. It was kind of meant to go low, so he could dive down, get it, stay away from the hit that was possibly going to come at him. So good throw right there. And hits Noah Brown right in the chest, right off the hands, whatever you want to say happened. Pops it up in the air. The guy who caught the first interception caught this interception and runs it back for a pick six, 52 yards to end the game. And we lose 40-34. So that's how we lost. Off of pick six in an OT against the Jaguars to go to 10-4 on the season. Jaguars go to 6-8. Now I didn't know what to do. I was in shock. I was in disbelief. I didn't know how to act. I At first I thought the ball was maybe tipped at the line because you couldn't really see it on the angle they showed on TV, like the live angle. But on replay, I mean, it hit Noah Brown right in the chest. It was a perfect throw. If he catches that, it's a first down also because it was 3rd and 4. It was definitely a 4 yard. It was probably like a 5 or 6 yard play. But yeah, I just unbelievable that happened. And we lost it. I mean, again, think of all the chances I just talked about that we had to win the game. Up 17 points, run the ball on 3rd and 10, stop them on 3rd and 10, tackle them in bounds. Don't let up a 19-yard play. Donovan Wilson gets his hands on it. So many plays. Get the fumble with 1 minute and 30 seconds left before that final drive for us, where we force them to use the timeouts, except for the last play. All those plays. I mean, all of those. It's crazy how we didn't win that game, but we didn't. And our defense let them go 8 for 12 on 3rd down. That's unacceptable. They had 500 yards of offense. Like I said, they almost had basically 200 yards on the ground. Lawrence had 4 touchdowns through the air. They just killed us. Seriously, they just did. So we had, they had 2 turnovers. They had 3 turnovers. We had 2 turnovers, but they just killed us on the ground. Penalties weren't big for us, only 2 for 18, but and we killed them in time of possession, 35-27. Just, I mean, even 3rd down, we were 9 of 16, but we lose the game. Dak, he still had a really good game, but he technically threw 2 interceptions, one being a pick six, had 3 sacks against them. Had 3 touchdowns, 256 through the air. Pollard was 19 of 75. Zeke was 16 of 58 and a touchdown. Lamb was 7 of 126. Again, he was really good. Just a really bad loss. But what I was saying that it, not that it didn't matter, because it still would have mattered, but the Eagles won, so the Eagles were 13-1, we're 10-4. Jalen Hurts hurt his shoulder against the Bears. We played the Eagles, obviously, this week. So they say he's most likely not going to play this week because of that shoulder. And I think the first reaction is, well, if we just won the Jaguars game, we would still have a chance at the division, obviously, because we'd be 11-3. And that means we're 2 games back. And if we were to beat the Eagles, we'd be 12-3. They'd be 13-2. And we'd tie the season series. And with 2 games left, who knows what would happen. And we'd have a better, assuming we won out and they lost one of those games, we'd win that division because we'd have a better in-division record. But I think Jalen Hurts let's say he doesn't play this game this week. I would say he'd play this game if we beat the Jaguars. So I don't look at it as if, if we won the game, we'd be playing the Eagles without Jalen Hurts. I look at it as they know that they have the division wrapped up at this point. They'd have to lose, they'd have to lose out and we'd have to win out. I don't see them losing out. They play us, they play the Saints, they play the Giants. Even if Hurts doesn't play in any of those games, they're still good enough to beat, maybe not us, but who knows, probably still us, the way that we play, but they're good enough to beat the Saints or the Giants, either of those teams. So I think if that game meant something, Hurts is playing. He's playing injured, he's playing hurt, but he's still playing that game. But knowing that there are 3 games up in the win column, and they're all but sure to win that division and get the number 1 seed, they're not going to play Hurts this week. So, it sucks that did happen, because who knows, maybe if we did win that game, maybe he still doesn't play the game. Who knows? Maybe that does happen. And then you'd really look bad about it, but I think he would play the game if it meant something. The fact that it doesn't, he's not going to play. They're not going to risk him playing it. But it actually came out later that night, Sunday night, that we did clinch a playoff spot because the Giants played, Washington lost. So we did clinch a playoff spot. We're all but guaranteed to be the 5 seed, which is the only seed you want to be if you're a wild card, because that means you play the winner of the NFC South, and the NFC South is atrocious. We kind of knew that's where we were going to end up anyways. It would have been a long shot, even if we won out. If we beat the Jaguars, beat the Eagles, won out, it would still be tough for the Eagles for us to, win that division. So we kind of expected to be a wild card team anyways, but I think now we know that, we're going to be the 5 seed. We just can't, we have 10 wins, and the Giants are the next team in the wild card. They have 8 wins, and we've beat them twice. So it's almost impossible for us not to be the 5 seed, but definitely you can't lose out. I mean, you can't end up 10-7, but then who knows? I don't, I guess you could. The Giants would have to win the last 3 games of the season. It probably wouldn't happen, but who knows? That could happen. But again, we'll probably be the 5 seed. We'll be on the road. We'll play the NFC South winner, which is most likely the Bucks, but who knows? So we kind of know where we are. But yeah, we'll look to this Eagles game. I guess, if Hurts, if he doesn't play, which again, it doesn't look like he's going to, it's not as meaningful anyways. And hopefully just win the game. Hopefully we do win these last 3 games of the season. We do play the Eagles, the Titans, and Washington. That Washington game may not mean anything for us at that point, so we'll probably rest people for that game if we do beat the Eagles and beat the Titans, or even just beat one of them, because that Washington game doesn't matter at that point, but because we'd have the 5 seed wrapped up, unless the Eagles were to lose out, but you know what I mean. It's, that game, we'll probably play a half or something like that, and then be ready for the wild card game. So that was it for this video. I talked about it. Things I would have changed, things I would have done. I think it was just bad coaching, bad play by the players as well. But I think the coaching was, the management of the game was just not the right situations to be doing what they were doing. So I guess you move on. We're still 10-4, but it definitely stings a little that you possibly could have had a chance for this division, and you kind of screwed it up by yourself. This game and the Packers game. You lose those 2 games, and that's what's going to happen. When you're leading, you're winning on the road in those 2 games, you lose both of them in OT. That's what happens. So, nevertheless, I thank you for watching. I'm not even, I won't even talk about next week's video. Just know that there's going to be a video next week after the Eagles game. Check out the other videos on this channel. It's the recap videos for Week 15, the preview videos for Week 16, which will be happening later this week. But thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.